Well, in the studio today, we're joined by Tiisetso Maloma. He's the author of The Anxious Entrepreneur and Township Biz Fastrack. He's an enthusiast of the evolution of innovation, and he comes into the studio to talk to me now. Tiisetso, very welcome to you to the Democracy Gauge. Thank you so much for making the time to talk to us.
Sure.
So, let's start controversially. This is a contentious topic. Well, in the studio today, we're joined by Tiisetso Maloma. He's the author of The Anxious Entrepreneur and Township Biz Fastrack. He's an enthusiast of the evolution of innovation, and he comes into the studio to talk to me now. Tiisetso, very welcome to you to the Democracy Gauge. Thank you so much for making the time to talk to us.
Sure.
So, let's start controversially. This is a contentious topic. At times, even very senior people in government battle to even define it.
Yeah. The fourth industrial revolution, just like any other revolutions, what it means is that as human beings, we've got this ability to create objects unlike any other animal. So we always innovating forward, from electricity to nuclear. So many other sort of technological breakthroughs, or even in biotechnology. So many industries are created. So for us to really participate in this fourth industrial revolutions, we must be innovating. So that's the question.
So, for somebody who's not heard what it even is, a simple definition, what is the fourth industrial revolution?
Okay, let me put it like this. The fourth industrial revolution is innovation. What is innovation? Innovation is piecing two pieces together to make something agile. I'll give a simple example. Take a chair, for example. So say a wooden chair. A wooden chair, it's a combination of, that wood, and then there's geometric structure that allows a person to sit. Another example, give an example of YouTube. YouTube mixes two things. It mixes internet and it mixes video. So when they come together, they create an agile tool that sits on the cloud instead of accessing video through cassette tapes.
Sure, but this isn't just innovation in a generic sense. Even the wheel, you could argue, was an innovation in itself. But we're talking now the world of artificial intelligence. We're talking the world of robotics. Quite frankly, a lot of the jobs that are very common today, we're all encouraged to become lawyers and doctors. A lot of those very skilled jobs will be done by artificial intelligence in the future.
I'm 50-50 on that. You can't code understanding or conscious, so you need a person's mind to really put things together. But artificial intelligence really does sort of automate certain processes. Some processes the computers can intelligently perform them. So I'm a bit 50-50 that, but we must get on with being innovative.
So here's the problem. We have an education system that already lags behind internationally. We all know the horror studies that emerge every now and again that say our learners are failing numeracy tests, they're failing comprehension tests. In a globally competitive world where many countries are moving ahead, are we going to get left behind?
We are going to get left behind. Like, for example, there's no coding in schools. So almost everything today is operated by some computer software. So that's where maybe the jobs are. But in terms of our education system, we're not innovating or teaching people on how to be participants in innovation.
At the beginning of the show, I read a stat, or at least a fact that I came across that says 2/3 of the children in creche or kindergarten today will occupy jobs that don't even exist yet.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, we're always innovating forward with say, for example, biotechnology. Now we've got nanotechnology, which is basically like nano is 1 million of a centimeter. So it's like zooming into 1 meter, 1 million times. So what happens is that doctors can now sort of see things within our body chemistry that they couldn't see before. They can heal certain diseases. So all those are new skills. That's new sort of knowledge. So we need to get our education to a point where everyone is parallel with the latest innovation.
We've got a burgeoning population of young people already. In fact, as you and I are standing here, most South Africans are young people. But if we're not equipping them to face this coming future, we're doomed.
Like I'll give you an example. India's got a lot of programmers. Almost or apps today are made in India. So India, in a sense, is ready with coding. So as technology progresses, all sort of the technological innovation in terms of programming, who's going to do them? If it's not us, it's say, for example, it's India or any other country. So we need to really sort of push ourselves education-wise to be at the forefront of innovation.
So if you were invited, I don't know, by the Minister of Basic Education or by a countrywide, a National Parents Association, what would your advice be to educators and to parents about how to prepare their little ones for the coming revolution?
I think it's two things. Well, the parent side, yes, but the system, which can only be changed on the government side. Some in the last past days, I saw an article saying the Gauteng Department of Education is partnering with BMW, and then they are going to create a school which will teach kids how to make cars. So I think that's one of the things that can be introduced. Learning systems wherein people are actually doing like they're really building, say if it's cars, if it's coding, they're actually building those codes and see how they work.
Paint a picture of the future. I mean, how are our lives going to be different, say, 20 years from now because of the fourth industrial revolution?
I don't think it's really going to be that drastic change for maybe the majority if we are not prepared. But what will happen is that people, as the inside was saying, below the sort of the tertiary line, will have basically nothing to do if we haven't really upgraded the education system.
So we'll become more unequal as a society.
Yeah, the equal divide will keep increasing.
So practically, I mean, if my grandmother were watching us, what might she expect to see that doesn't even exist today?
That's a tough one. Like I mean, most of the examples they give
driverless cars.
Yeah, I mean that's already happening.
But it
autonomous
will
cars,
mainstream, right?
Well, I think it depends whether it's a specific country. I think it's going to be hard to implement autonomous vehicles in South Africa. So it will really depend on the country's readiness to embrace such technology in terms of, is everyone, say for example, on the internet, is everyone educated to use all these different devices?
So what I'm hearing you say is that, look, the people that are ready for this will steam ahead, but those that get left behind, perhaps, the gap won't be as huge.
Yes,
is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
All right, pick a color. Which one? Are we ready for the fourth industrial revolution? Green is yes, yellow is maybe, red is no.
I'm an optimist, so I'll go with yellow.
Fence sitter, you are.
Yeah.
All right, Tiisetso Maloma, thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. Now, a reminder.